what?
I put it right now.
Oh, okay. Can you ask me again? It's something.
Yes. You are releasing the new album of Wolfheart in September. How did you came up with the name, with the title? Draconian Darkness.
It's the previous album, King of the North, was about the Finnish mythology and about our ancestors who lived in a perfect harmony with the nature, and Nordic people were like really respectful towards the nature, and we worship bears and wolves as demigods, and we killed what we needed to survive. So it was very healthy balance between man and nature. And I wanted to continue the theme, but I wanted to reflect the whole thing with the modern age, where man only kills and burns. We don't have the balance with the nature anymore. We don't respect the nature. We don't fear the nature. We just take whatever we want, no matter what the price is. So yeah, Draconian Darkness is what is our contribution to the world. That's what we are bringing. This is the legacy of human nature and humankind.
How long did it take to conclude the album, and who is responsible for the lyrics and the music?
I did the both, like I always do, and it was I started composing in around September, and everything was written in December. There was a small breaks because we did one tour in Finland and one tour in Europe, but between the tours, I spent most of our time with the writing and doing the pre-production, and we started recording already in January.
What inspires you to make music?
I wish I had a more grand answer, like more like an artistic answer, but I just enjoy writing music the most. Like I don't play with different instruments that much. Like I don't rehearse. Like I know a lot of guitar players, they do like Vangelis probably does like 1 hour each day, but then again he needs the different skills for the solos. But I only touch instruments to compose something. Music and instruments are just tools for me to write something new, and that's been so natural for me since I was like 9 years old when I started with the guitar. So it's not like it's not something that requires inspiration. It's, to me, it's just like air to breathe, so to speak.
So you start with the music first and then the lyrics.
Yeah, I always finish the whole song with the final arrangement and all the melodies and stuff like that, so I can hear the full and ready mood of the song, and then I build the lyrics for the song.
How do you compare this album with the previous album?
It's a lot darker. Okay, of course the topic is darker. The previous album was very Nordic and very like nature based, which is very like a nice topic. Like nature itself doesn't really like provide that big of a contrast or like harsh topics. So the previous album was very melodic and more like mid-tempo. It fit really well for the theme, but this album is a lot darker, a lot more symphonic, and has more elements from death and black metal than any of our previous albums.
When you create or record an album, would you say that the feeling is the same as when you are play that album in the audience, the live against the create and recording?
It's so different. It's so different. Like with some songs, already when I'm writing the songs, I know that I will love playing the songs live because they carry certain energy, but I don't feel that energy while recording or while writing. I just acknowledge that this will be something we will enjoy playing live, like a year after when the album is finally out and we do the tours. But it's such a different like environment. Like in studio, it's just basically you are living in this small bubble where you only focus on the music and creating the songs layer by layer. And when you walk on stage in front of people, they don't compare. It's and like different things, like some songs that are my huge favorites in the studio that I love to record, I never want to play live. There's different, like
it's so different.
Yeah, it's completely like I could live. I learned that during the pandemic, when all the tours were canceled, that I can survive really well without touring. Like, I do love to play, I love to travel, but if tomorrow I get an email that I am not allowed to play any shows ever again, I would survive that. But if somebody would tell me that I can't record any more songs, I don't know how that could work. That probably wouldn't work for me. So yeah, it's a different world playing live, and live gigs. A lot of the positive things are from the energy of the audience, not exactly the songs that we play, because that is the energy that we feel. So it's huge variable, and every night is a different energy, and every night is a different, like scenario when you tour and you play like 25 shows in a month. So every show is different, but every day in the studio is basically the same. You go into the same mood set, you go into the same bubble every day. So yeah, two worlds.
Do you have a favorite song from that album?
I have many. That was
How many?
it wasn't just me, it was the whole band and the label and the management. Everybody had the same problem, that it was super difficult this time to pick 4 single songs, because there was way too many options this time. Usually it's not the case, but it just happened that every song could work as a single or a video song. But the song that I'm mostly waiting to play live is Grave.
Great. Okay. Okay, we will wait and see. I hope you will come to Greece to play.
We've been there so many times that it's probably gonna happen pretty soon.
I hope so. What's your dream regarding the band?
Regarding what?
Regarding the band, what's your dream?
I got a similar question just like a few hours ago, and I finally, it's been asked to me many times, and I usually go into this like details about the career and stuff like that, but I summarize it so well. Like, I used to work as a stage manager and a festival producer, and I worked with all the big bands. I did Megadeth, Volbeat, Motorhead, a lot of like huge names. And once I did one festival in northern Finland, and the band called Heaven and Hell was headlining, and that was a band that Ronnie James Dio was the vocalist, and the guitar player was Tommy Iommi from Black Sabbath. It wasn't a good festival. I didn't organize it. I was just the stage boss, but it wasn't a good festival. It wasn't a huge audience. It was a horrible weather. Nothing was great about the evening. And I know that the guys have seen all the stages. They have more money that they can spend. Like, they had amazing career, and suddenly they are in northern Finland in this kind of like shitty festival. And I was prepared that they're not going to be happy about it. They're just going to come there, play the show, and we try to provide as good possibilities for the show as possible, but probably they're not going to be happy about it. And then few minutes, like usually it's the same pattern with all those big bands. Like, they usually travel alone. They don't connect with each other even. They've been playing for decades. So they just come there and get the job done, and they are out. They don't show any kind of chemistry anymore. That's quite like a common thing with those legendary bands. But 2 minutes before the intro went on, behind the stage, I saw on the left side there was Tommy Iommi, on the right side there was Ronnie James Dio, sending like these stupid like finger signals to each other and just goofing around. And clearly they were super excited and happy to get to play together. And that's what I want to have with Wolfheart. I like 10 years from here, I think the best thing that I could imagine that we enjoy playing together as much as those guys did still in their like late days of a career. So being that happy of what you're doing, I think that's the biggest reward of all.
What type of music do you listen when you're not playing or creating an album?
Well, I don't listen to music at all at home.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I do like at least one album per year, which means that I spend a lot of time in 1 year for composing, pre-production, recording the album, listening to the mixes. So each album that I work, I'm currently doing one album now, which I'm listening to those pre-production versions daily basis. So that's enough for me. Like home, I only watch Netflix, movies, stuff like that. So I only listen to music in the gym. And because it's part of my routine in the training, I don't like to change the music. So there's one album from Whitechapel, one album from Orbit Culture, and one album from Moonsorrow. Nothing else. It's only those 3 albums I've been listening to like past 3 years. So I'm very, very bad with listening to music. It's yeah.
What is the most important thing that you must have in order to smoothly run a tour?
That is a complicated question. I think well the biggest thing is you need to have a like band members with you. You need to have a like people you can trust. Like your band itself is the most important thing. Yeah, you need to be surrounded with people who you can trust. They trust you, and there's enough experience that everybody understands that there will be bad days and there will be good days, because that's the most annoying thing. It's like having a family holiday, and you have always the same family member who complains that it's too hot, too wet, traveling is too long, breakfast is too small. Like these kind of persons are usually the biggest problem. Like you will always have issues with flights or vehicles or schedules. That's just part of life. There's no way there will be a tour that everything goes perfectly. But if you don't have the right kind of people with you on the tour, that's gonna amplify all the problems. So if you have a good crew and you have a right kind of like a chemistry in the band and professional and trustworthy members, then everything will end up going smooth. Even though if there is problems, you will solve the problems and then you move on. So I think that's the key thing to everything, because yeah, there will be no perfect tours for anybody. There will always be something. That's just laws of the nature in the touring. But if you have a good people with you, you will be okay with that, and you are able to laugh and smile about the bad things, and you just move on, and there will be a better day next day.
Between festivals and small venues, which one do you prefer and why?
That is a tricky question, because for the band and the career, of course, festivals, because in one big festival show, you can gather more audience than you can get with one tour. Like festival like Summer Breeze, when you have 10,000 people in the audience, that's more than 20 shows in Germany. That's huge asset to be able to play that kind of festival. That will bring the band forward for sure. But I do enjoy a lot more the smaller venues. Like the audience is so much closer. Like in festivals, it might be like 8 meters for the first row in the audience. Like it's there's no intimacy. It's usually there. Of course, festivals are open air, so it's a huge amount of people in open field, instead of like having a rock club where you have 400 people. You can feel the energy from the audience. You are part of the same kind of like vibe in the venue. So I do,
Yeah.
I enjoy more the club venues, but I value the festivals more for the band itself.
What are your plans for this year?
We're gonna do Finnish tour right when the album comes. That's gonna take the September. Then we have some shows in October. We're gonna do European tour in November. We are waiting to finalize the North American tour for February, and hopefully do East Europe or South America before the summer, and then do festivals as much as possible in Finland and Europe. Then we kind of like need to do the second North American tour in September, October, because we need to be able to use the visas twice.
Yes.
And then I don't know, but the next 14 months until next year's November, it's gonna be really busy.
Touring all the time.
Well, luckily they're like we do 1 month of tour, and then we are 1 month in Finland, and then maybe another one is not gonna be back to back. But there's gonna be enough shows for sure, yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I hope the album goes #1 because it has to. And we hope to see you in Greece and talk about again for the album and for the live and all of that.
All right.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks.
Ευχαριστώ.